All right, buddy. Welcome, salut, welcome Sunday, everybody. Today we're going to discuss impeaching judges won't work, remove them for bad behavior. If you're on TikTok, we're discussing the same thing, removing bad judges. So with TikTok, we're going to get started at the same time as anybody on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And I have with me right here my trusty this is the U.S. Constitution, compliments Charlie Kirk in Turning Point USA. If you'd like to get your free copy of the U.S. Constitution, just reach out to Turning Point USA and they will gladly mail you a free copy of the U.S. Constitution. Welcome, George Kipper and Harold Southsonic and David Bev. So what I'm going to do, everybody, is get started immediately. I'm going to start reading the Constitution, Articles 1, 2, and 3, and how it pertains to everybody. Now, if you're like me and you're over 40, then you actually had a U.S. Constitution class in high school. However, I believe recently over the last 15, 20 years, they removed the U.S. mandatory U.S. Constitution class, which means that in general, the American population under the age of 40 or 35 has no knowledge. Even college graduates have no knowledge of the U.S. Constitution, what's written in it, what's not, what people are adding to it and misinterpreting and construing and before I get started, I want you to recognize I took one semester of U.S. Constitution in the 10th grade at St. Patrick High School, and this was in the 80s. And then in the 7th grade, I had a one-year class of civics, and all 7th graders, it was mandatory back then in the 80s that in your seventh year in the 7th grade, you had to take 1 year class on the American Constitution and your civic duties in America, and it broke that down. And it's sad that that is not being taught anymore, and it's being done by both parties, because if you don't know what's written in the U.S. Constitution, if you don't know your history, then as the great Jamaican African prophet Marcus Garvey said, is that a nation without its past history is like a tree without roots. And that is the reason why in America, African history is not taught to the African American population, because it subjugates us and and then we don't even know that the Old Testament and all the Old Testament is all in the Bible is all black people. Okay, there's no white people in the Old Testament in the book of Moses, regardless of what you've been taught, even if you're Catholic like myself. Okay, and in the New Testament, Caucasians, white people are only introduced when it comes to the persecution of Jesus in the Roman Italian occupation of Palestine, Jerusalem. So let's get into the American Constitution right here. I have this is Turning Point USA. Thank you to Charlie Kirk for sending, not myself, but someone I know, this U.S. Constitution. So let me read Article 1 so I can explain to you that the powers that Article 1 has. And you're going to find out what Article 1 is all about and who it addresses. And I'm going to read all Articles 1, 2, and 3 in all their sections. So don't go to sleep while I'm reading this, as my mother's pastor would say, because you may accuse me of lying. Okay, that is not my phrase. Okay. Article 1, Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives. Section 2. Thank you for sending it out to the TikTok universe. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the sovereign states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. So what does that mean, breaking it down? What you and I need to understand is that the House of Representatives have to run for office every 2 years, and that's a great thing. Whereas the House of Senate run every 4 years. We'll get to that next. No person shall be a representative who shall not have obtained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of the state in which he shall be chosen. So you must live in the state that you're chosen to represent. You need to be an American citizen for 7 years, and you need to be 25 years of age to be in the House of Representatives. And why is that important? When this was written in 1776, the U.S. Constitution, it was drafted between 1776 and 1779. You need to recognize that this, the United States of America, was a place of immigrants, and many people had just arrived from the UK, whether it was England or London or Germany or Spain or France. They were arriving from other countries, and they might have only been here for 2 years. Well, if you just arrived from Ireland or Germany or Italy, and not really much then, but Spain or France, and you were, let's say, in Louisiana, and remember, at the time of the U.S. Constitution, Louisiana and Mississippi were not even a part of the United States. Okay, that occurred in 1803 through the Louisiana Purchase. So there was some stipulations. You couldn't be a 20-year-old and get elected to the House of Representatives, even though we've recently had a 20-year-old elected to the House of Representatives. And how could that occur? You're asking me. That happened because of amendments. We're still in Article 1. We're going to get to Article 3, which addresses the removal of judges. I'm just going systematically through Articles 1, 2, and 3 so that everybody here, you understand the powers that each article addresses. Article 1 is addressing Congress. Now, finishing up, representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states which may be included within this union, according to the respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indians not taxed 3/5 of all other persons. Now, for all you guys to understand, the 3/5 of all other persons, that's referring to moi and my ancestors. They still isn't it interesting that the Declaration of Independence was written by a bunch of white guys talking about all men are created equal, yet the southern states held men in captivity as slaves and determined that they were only 3/5 of a human, and that's because of the purposes of taxing that slave. You can't vote, you're only 3/5 of the human, but I'm going to tax you anyway. The actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and with every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall by law direct. That 10 years is explaining why we have a U.S. Census every 10 years for the purposes of taxing people in that prospective state. Now we're moving on to Article 2. All right. Hey, listen up. All you people out there on TikTok, your attention span is too short. Listen up. Hey, Slick, listen up. Now we're on to Article 2. And I just dropped another person because, nope. Okay, I'm not going through all these articles. Okay, now we're just going to jump to Article 2. I was going to go through all of them, but that would bore you. And so now I understand why I started out with 10 people. I only have 3. You guys on TikTok, get your attention span up. Okay. Now, Article 2, Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in a president of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the vice president chosen for the same term be elected as follows. Each state shall appoint in such manner as they legislate thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in Congress, but no senator or representative or person holding the office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. You get that, everybody? That Congress does not even elect the president. It's electors that the only purpose of Congress is to confirm the Electoral College. The Electoral College is made up of people that are not for profit, and their representatives, like you and I in our prospective states, could be electors, but no member of Congress, Senate, or House of Representatives can be a member of the Electoral College. Okay, so let's get on to this. I'm not going to go any further because Article 1 alone is long. So now I'm going to jump to Article 3, Section 1, addressing the last branch, which of course is Article 3, Section 1. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may find time to time ordain and establish. The judges, both of the Supreme and inferior courts, shall hold their offices during good behavior and shall at stated times receive for their services a compensation which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. What does that mean? Is that a federal judge generally is a lifetime appointment. Once you are appointed a federal judge, whether it's the Supreme Court or a district court, that is a lifetime appointment, and you shall receive a compensation that shall not be diminished during your time of serving, which should be the remainder of your life. Now, let's get to what Elon Musk brought up, and he tweeted on Twitter X. Elon Musk tweeted on Twitter X that Judge John Bates, who ruled on whether Doge shall have access to different branches of the government, but not the Treasury. You notice he didn't rule on that one because that's money. So basically, the judge was willing to make a temporary judgment on everything but the Treasury. And then this clown in New York said that it's not the same clown. Okay. The clown that a week ago mysteriously at 1:30 a.m. Saturday night in New York, while everybody in New York was still partying, having drinks, hanging out at the club, mysteriously the Democratic Party in 19 districts filed a claim in court, and they didn't notify the White House because they could have. The White House had judges. The White House has judges that are on 24-hour notice. So they could have done a Zoom call in court in New York to address whether Doge should have access to the Treasury. And so this judge who voted that the Secretary of Treasury cannot even have access to his own records, and that would be Scott Bessent, that person is not acting in good behavior. And that judge did not give any constitutional reasons why, which is not acting in good behavior. So this goes to what Elon Musk was saying. We should impeach this judge, Judge John Bates, because he is impeding us. Well, I love you to death, Elon Musk. I'm on your side. I support the work you're doing, but it's not that easy. Okay, if you impeach somebody, and we found this out with Clinton and President Donald Trump, impeachment is just really to slander somebody, because once you impeach them, you can impeach anybody. As a matter of fact, the same person that now is talking about impeaching Donald Trump, we can impeach him, but you need 2/3 of Senate to remove them. That means you need 66 people that are in agreement with that. And we don't have that. So if you impeach a judge because Elon Musk required it, well, we have 54 people in the wait a minute, how many do we have? We have 54, I believe so. And no, I don't see XRP getting to 9K anytime soon. That's not going to happen. There's going to be some conflicts brought up with XRP, and that is Tropcoal. No Tropcoal. XRP is. I don't see XRP reaching 9K in anytime soon. And there's a variety of political reasons. There's a conflict of interest there. And I can see XRP reaching $7 or $9, but not 9K. And it's just because it's a closed blockchain, even though they swear that it is. So getting back to my point, what President Trump can do and what Pam Bondi can do, Pam Bondi, who's the attorney general, can go in and remove any judge under the terms of bad behavior. So all of these 14, 15 activist judges who are being political, all of you guys can be removed by the attorney general and the president because you're not acting with good behavior. You're acting out your political reasons, and you're not giving constitutional reasons for why you're placing injunctions. So you cannot, if you're a federal judge and you're going to place an injunction, which is to block an executive order that the president has issued, you better cite strong constitutional reasons for doing it. If you fail to list out constitutional reasons, you are in jeopardy of being removed. If you block the president's executive order and you give no constitutional reasons, that right there is reason for dismissal and removal from your political office, okay? Because you are unelected. And so that is where things are going to go. Talking about impeachment of anybody is futile. It makes no sense. Neither party, the Democrats or the Republicans, have 66 votes to remove anybody. So both Democrats and Republicans should refrain from using impeachment during the time next 4 years. You guys don't have the votes. So any Democrat talking about impeaching Donald Trump, it's not going to work. With these activist judges who are placing injunctions, which is blocking the executive orders of the president, which they do not even have the authority to do, and then not even citing any constitutional reasons to justify their decision, they can be removed immediately. And for the ones that give justification saying, well, the union had a point, or with USAID, look, there's some poor people in Rwanda that were expecting this money. Well, get it from Europe, get it from the EU, the European Union. The United States doesn't owe anybody anything. And we need to stop all this fraud. And it's mainly on the Democratic side, but I'd be willing to bet you're going to find Mitch McConnell and a few other Republicans. And this is going to continue until people go to prison. Okay, people need to be indicted, convicted, and they need to go to prison. And if you don't stop it, members of Congress will continue insider trading. They will continue to take bribes from lobbyists. They will continue to open-handedly go to dinner in Washington, D.C., and have people pass them an envelope full of cash. This is going to continue to happen until people go to prison. And then last but not least, before I leave, you forgot that we the people, remember, we are a people that rebelled against the king. So the people that signed the Declaration of Independence took up arms, took up their muskets, took cannons, and they fought against the king for their own sovereignty and freedom. Therefore, you and I as American citizens have the right to bear arms. We have the right to take up guns and go in the street and overthrow and throw out any congressperson who's taken bribes like Nancy Pelosi. The thing is, these idiots in Congress have duped you and brainwashed you into believing that you don't have that power. So that's what it is right there. So with that, everybody, we're going to be out of here. I'm just breaking down the U.S. Constitution. You don't have to thank me for your history lesson. With that, we're out of here. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be talking about crypto.